Okay. Hi, this is Danny Moore. We're at Nerding Out, and today we have a special guest, and it is...
Erica Diener from Mammoth Microbes.
Nice. Thank you for coming by, Erica. Always nice to have you.
Always nice to see you guys.
So anything new at Mammoth these days?
We are working on coming out with some new products this year. We'll be coming out with a biocontrol line, so it'll be pest prevention. Can't talk about it too much yet, but it'll be hitting shelves soon. We'll be doing a big launch, hopefully the beginning of next month.
Nice.
So that's something you can look forward to. We also are working on other microbial products as well. That'll be later on.
There you go. So nice little teaser for everybody. And that's for later this year, you said?
The pest control will be coming out hopefully this next month. So the first,
wow.
yeah.
So soon.
Yeah, very
that's
soon.
exciting.
Couple weeks, yeah.
So new product. That must be really exciting for the company because you've done so well with the original product.
Yeah, we've definitely got our brand name out there, and we've been, working really hard on developing new products. It's just been such a process. They go through a lot of testing and then just application, getting licensed, getting patented, and so we've been, and we make everything, we bottle it all, ship it all out ourselves, so it's a lot of work, and they've been working really hard, and we finally are ready to release one new thing, so we're pretty excited about that.
Alrighty, nice. So about the original product, just a quick background. When did it come on the market? What was the need you were trying to fill with the product?
So Mammoth P came out in 2015. It was started with 3 microbiologists from Colorado State University that were basically looking to study soil microbes and figure out how they function and how they can kind of recreate that and work more efficiently. So they were trying to see how they could target specific nutrient uptakes with bacteria. And basically in soil, we know only about 1% of what billions and billions of natural soil microbes actually do. We just don't know how they function really. So they, at the university, got, funded to study these microbes and found that we could kind of make them function a certain way by combining different species together. So, what Mammoth P is just a consortia of 4 different strains of bacteria that specifically targets phosphorus cycling. So these bacteria together break down phosphorus 30 times faster than any known bacteria in nature.
Wow. Is it because were they discovered as the North Pole was melting and woolly mammoth carcasses started to come to surface? You discovered these microbes?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So they actually have like a proprietary trait selection platform that allows them to kind of pull different bacteria based on how they function, and basically just went through tons and tons and tons of bacteria and put different consortia together and watched how they function. So it was a lot of just testing them together. But it is
got along well together and stuff.
Right, and how they function as a microbial community, which is a little bit different than where you see a lot of other microbials. They kind of have very similar strains in them. Ours are patented, and you won't really see these in any other products.
Oh, because you guys have developed them,
right?
Essentially,
right.
That's cool. So Mammoth P helps break down phosphorus for plant uptake. Why is that so important?
So phosphorus is the #1 most important nutrient in the flowering phase, but it's also important in rooting and in veg, your stem strength and density. It'll help increase that. It helps just store DNA and RNA within your plant. So that's super important when you're taking clones from mothering plants. You want to have enough phosphorus in your plant throughout the whole life cycle of the plant. The most we see from it is the yield increase. We typically see between 16 and 30% increase in yield by getting that extra phosphorus. But it's really important because phosphorus is so harmful to the environment, we're wasting a lot of it. It becomes about 70% of it is immediately immobilized within your medium. So as soon as you dump your normal phosphorus feed in, it just becomes unavailable to the plant.
Wow, that's crazy.
So these bacteria will help break that down, and by allowing that increase in uptake, we see the increase in yield. But phosphorus is, it's something that is not a renewable resource. We're going through it really fast, and we have to be aware of being sustainable, especially in the cannabis industry, because we get so much stigma as it is. We need to make sure that we're using things properly, and bringing nature back to agriculture is basically what we try to do. And just by allowing plants to use more of the nutrients that we're feeding instead of letting them be wasted, which cause algae blooms and ecological issues. So that's kind of the idea behind it. Save money on nutrients, increase your yield, decrease the amount of nutrients that are being wasted and put back into the environment.
Increase efficiency.
Yep.
Which in turn does your part, like you said, with the environment, and increases profit margins too.
Right.
Technically.
Yeah. So it increases your ROI, which is the end goal, especially with cannabis, and just in farming in general. We use this on every type of crop, and you can use it in any medium. Phosphorus does become unavailable in cocoa and in hydroponics as well. So it is something you can use in any medium.
Is there a difference where this product's more efficient in a certain medium, or it's across the board where whether it is like a soil or a cocoa or hydro, it pretty much no matter what, you're getting a ton of benefit?
Yeah, you're going to see very similar results using it in any system. You might see more, sometimes we see more of an increase in yield when you use it in a straight organic system, because you're not already you're already using other microbial life. You're not pushing your plants really hard with other, growth hormones and things like that. So we see really good results, upwards to the 30% increase in yield by adding that into an organic system.
Yeah.
And it also, you can kind of stretch it a little bit further in natural soil. Sometimes the bacteria will live a little bit longer. But we see pretty much right around that 16 to 30% in any medium with any type of crop.
Interesting. So, Mammoth P for phosphorus. Would this kind of be like a probiotic for plants?
It's pretty much is a probiotic for plants. Yeah, people say that all the time. It's like, they're like, is this like kombucha for your plants? I'm like, essentially, yeah. It is. It's good bacteria. It's going to help protect your rhizosphere, so it's can outcompete harmful pathogenic microbes in your medium, to help protect your roots, especially in hydroponics and things like that. It does release enzymes as well. It releases 5 different types of enzymes continuously, so as it's breaking down those nutrients, it's also cleaning your root zone and eating all that dead material out of there, which is really good.
Yeah, it's great. It's organic, so it's it makes sense. You help the environment and everything else flourishes because it all works together.
Right. Yeah. What else does it do? It's really good for just your internodal spacing, your stem strength, density. When it's in flower and in veg, you want your stalks to be as strong as possible. So if you have a lot of those strains that are super flimsy, adding that, you will see it become more dense. It'll be stronger, able to support more weight. You'll see your plants bulk more from that itself.
That's cool. So I brought some things. I don't know do these represent microbes? I was trying to find something that was cool, that we could kind of visually show people somehow. Microbes or something. Actually, here's a question. Are the microbes fungal based?
No, they're not.
Oh, okay.
So, like, the difference between, say, a mycorrhizae
Yep.
and our bacteria is basically a mycorrhizae is a spore. It's a fungus spore, like this little mushroom.
Okay.
So, these guys have to, one, they don't really live well in hydroponic reservoirs. So, they only thrive in dry environment, and once it gets into your soil, it needs to colonize within the root zone. So basically, our bacteria function a little bit differently. They don't have to. They can sit in your reservoir for 7 to 10 days. So they, if you don't feed it all right away, you can add it in, or
Yep.
you can keep working off your reservoir. It's fine to sit with your regular nutrients. It's not gonna go bad or die. So that's one thing. It's very stable. It also is fine to feed through drip irrigation and like dosing systems, which is really nice. Where sometimes with a powdered fungus, you might get a biofilm, or just like it'll clog up your your drip lines and things like that. So the Mammoth P will not cause biofilm, which is extremely popular, especially with like larger cultivators. And then once it actually gets into the soil, it functions where they kind of spread out. So like, here's your plant. I'm doing this visual just because you put all these things out here. So like, here's all these guys are phosphorus, and then here's our microbes. And they eat the phosphorus, and then they actually deliver it to the plant root zone. So you're gonna see where normal mycorrhizae can only thrive. They'll only thrive within the root zone of the plant. They have to colonize there before they're actually even going to start doing anything, because they're not living, they're spores.
Yep.
They're not living once they get into your soil. So they have to colonize here before they can do anything and actually grow your root zone out to get to these nutrients. Where Mammoth is breaking them down and then bringing them to the plant.
Yeah. So you're also being more efficient again, because you can remove multiple products from your nutrient line. Yeah,
I mean, we still recommend to like use the mycorrhizae with it, because it does function differently, where it is just growing your root mass. And we still do recommend to use your regular mycorrhizae, but you can kind of cut back on other beneficials or enzymes if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But we typically just have people add it however they're normally feeding. They're going to see enough of an increase where, you can still use your other products with it as well. You can sometimes cut back on some things though.
But you wouldn't want to use like a H2O2 or hydrochloric acid or anything, right?
So you can, you just don't want to add them at the same time. So if you're going to do that, basically we recommend to, if you're in a hydro system, say you change your reservoir every 7 to 10 days or something like that. One way you can do it is you can change your reservoir, use the H2O2, and then add the Mammoth like 2 days later. And then, it'll have 5 days or whatever to work before you change the reservoir out again.
Yeah, gotcha.
You basically just don't want to add it at the same exact time.
Yeah.
They are very resistant microbes, so they will survive through that.
Oh, really?
But they will kill them. It just, you can't add them at the same time.
Yeah.
So another way you could do it is like do it every other week. 1 week use your sterilizer, 1 week use your Mammoth. And then there's a lot of people who just don't use the sterilizer at all and use the Mammoth and allow the enzymes to clean.
Do the job.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're not using other beneficials with it, which usually cause that biofilm and stuff that you're trying to that's what you're trying to kill basically with your sterilizer, using a good microbe that doesn't cause a biofilm, it will keep it clean. And then it'll also prevent other harmful microbes from occurring.
Gotcha.
Because it outcompetes them basically.
Nice. so you can not worry about like fungus gnats or like root rot and things like.
Right. Yeah.
It
will prevent the root rot and things like that. Yes.
Nice. So these the little things I brought. I was
They're
gonna
pretty
say,
cute.
yeah, this guy looks angry, so I was gonna say that
I know.
this guy was like maybe like a bad pathogen.
That was before the mammoth.
They were all attacking, yeah.
Right.
What else we got? This could be another bad guy. They all attack. Microbes attack.
This is.
Well then we're on talking
birds.
seaweed, and then talking seaweed comes along and just demolishes everything and just it's all.
They're like,
it's all gone.
we don't have any part in this.
All right, so Mammoth is basically a great product for growers, no matter what medium they're in or what they're even growing.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and we see. I mean, it's very cost efficient. It goes a really long way. Like this little bottle will mix 400 gallons.
Wow.
So I mean, for large scale cultivators, it's very cost efficient for them, and the profit that they see from adding it is quite high for just being able to add one product to your system, and to get that return out of it is not something people are used to seeing.
Have you guys done actual like cost analyses and stuff?
Yeah, so we have like an ROI calculator, and when we deal with any commercial clients that run a seed to sale system, we typically have them track their results because it's very easy. Everything's being tracked anyway. So they'll try the Mammoth in a section, run it all the way through. They'll see what yield increase they got, and we can plug it into our ROI calculator, and basically we put in like what your cost would have been, how much yield increase you got, what the current market price is, and then it'll tell you exactly how many dollars you've profited per cycle just by adding Mammoth P. And we can break it down of like how much you profited per cycle or per year or per crop or however they want it, and basically show them, this is what you're missing out on by not using this product, and it's like, are you willing to think about it this way? Are you willing to lose that every year?
It doesn't make sense.
Right.
And do help the environment.
It's helping,
picture.
and you're reducing the amount of nutrients you're going through. Most people are seeing much better quality.
Captain Planet.
Right. We're saving the environment. They're getting better quality medicine, which is also really, really important. We have hundreds of cannabis cups winners just from using Mammoth, and we're only like 4 years old as a company, so we expect to see a lot more.
And it would make sense, a healthier plant, you would think a better flower.
Better product, exactly.
Speaking of products, do you have like organic farmers like that farm produce using this stuff?
Yeah, we actually run trials with Driscoll strawberries.
Wow.
And we run trials, we deal with tomato farmers, strawberry farmers, hops, hemp.
Nice.
Anything that's like a fruiting, flowering plant is going to do really well with that extra phosphorus uptake.
Yep.
So they see it to be more profitable with like hops, and with tomatoes we see 20% larger tomatoes in weight, and then like with hops they yield, they basically pull the resin out of the hops, and they see 17% more resin from the hops. So that's where they see a lot of benefit from using it. We also do a lot with hemp. Anything you're planting in natural soil, over the years, a lot of these farmers have had just
depleted,
just killing all their microbes and dumping more and more nutrients into the earth, and it's just getting mineralized. And by adding these microbes over the years, they're seeing just way better health of their natural soil, and being able to use minimal fertilizer and getting much better results than they ever have. So it's definitely cool to see.
For sure. It's crazy how you can see like from space like the algae blooms from all the runoff.
Right.
And
It's so bad. It's basically the number one cause of algae blooms is agriculture. It's from the runoff of phosphorus and nitrogen, and it's really bad. It kills all the the sea life, and even in just like if you drive through agricultural areas and you look at all the ponds and all the streams, like everything is green. That's from runoff of phosphorus and nitrogen, and depleting the earth of that. And then at some point, we're going to be like spending a lot of money to mine more and process more phosphorus for farmers, and it's going to become extremely expensive. And right now we're just wasting it. So it's something that everyone has to be conscious of, but especially like the cannabis industry, we want to leave like as little mark as possible, and like sustainability is super important.
Yeah. Oh shit, I had a question but it just disappeared. Oh, what the hell was it about? Oh well. Do you actually have any people? Oh, I have two questions. Mm-hmm. So you said resin increase. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that in cannabis? An increase in resin?
Yeah. So
or we maybe even terpenes.
Right. So we've actually had clients that have told us that they've seen terpenes come out of certain strains that they've never seen before. Wow. And like strains that they have run for years and years. We typically see around a 1 to 3% terpene increase of percentage. And then we do see like increased THC percentages as well. Wow. So if you're growing for just extraction, mm-hmm. you're going to get more dry weight, but you're also going to pull more extract off of it. And then, just increasing THC content, which is pretty important for some people. We've seen strains go from testing at like 23%, for years and years, all the way up to 27%. So like pretty big increases. Yeah. And it's all strain specific. So it really just brings the natural characteristics out in the plant. So like smell, flavor profile, structure, things like that, you're going to notice a lot more.
Are there any use cases where people are like using this in their yard for like anything, like on a residential level?
I mean, it's very popular with home growers, and they use it on just about everything, Most people, once they get it, they're like, I'm going to give this to all my plants, because it really will benefit anything, If it's got roots, it'll like it. If it's got, if it's a flower, it's going to create more bud sites. Mm-hmm. And if it's like any kind of vegetable, you're going to see more bud sites, and as well as bigger fruits.
That's good with the lack of bees.
Right.
It's just a pretty thing.
Yeah. It's just a pretty thing.
Alrighty. What else is there? Anything else you think you want to talk about with Mammoth?
I'm gonna edit this too, so don't feel like
yeah.
pauses are gonna be awkward.
Okay.
Yeah.
So. Okay. I don't know.
All right. What about shelf life? You said this makes 4 gallons, but
I'll talk about like application stuff. So with shelf life on this, it's good for 2 years unopened. On the back of the bottle, on the bottom, it has our manufacture date. Most people will ask a lot of questions about that. They think that this is the expiration date. It's not. This is the date it was manufactured. So it's good for 2 years from that date unopened. Once opened, we recommend to use it within a year. It'll always change color. It'll get dark. That's totally normal. Basically, all that is the alfalfa that we add into it is basically the food source for the microbes. It oxidizes, so that's the organic material changing color, but it doesn't affect the bacteria in it at all. So it will.
If anything, would it increase it?
It won't. It doesn't really increase anything, but it's just as good. It works just the same, just as effective. It is just that organic material changes color basically over time. But it is still good, and you'll see like sometimes the smaller ones will change faster than the bigger ones. It's just that exposure to oxygen basically.
Yeah. Do you have people like using these for teas and stuff?
You can mix it into a tea if you're gonna add it into a tea. You definitely want to add it last, right before you feed. You don't want to brew it into the tea because it can outcompete other bacteria. So basically when you're brewing your tea, you're trying to create this microbial, mix, and that's awesome. This is pretty strong stuff. So when you add that, and we have, each microbe is at a different concentration. So like if you look in the back, we have these 4 strains, but they're not all at the same rate.
Yeah.
So once you brew them together, it will change that. So basically you can let it sit in your reservoir with your like nutrients, but if you were brewing a tea overnight, you wouldn't want to add that until right before you feed.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so a lot of people do think that, because it's bacteria, it's like meant to be brewed or it's stronger that way, but it really, it just kind of those bacteria will outcompete other bacteria and themselves, and some will multiply and some won't, and then it throws the balance off and it doesn't function as effectively.
Okay. So do these are not harmful in nature if they end up in nature somehow?
No.
Like
nope.
if they were like in somehow in a public local waterway, because you're talking about how
Right.
they're polluted.
Yep.
Nothing would
Nope.
happen. There'd be no.
Nope. You can actually use them in aquaponics with your fish.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, they're naturally occurring bacteria. Yeah. We've just patented the consortia of them being used together. You wouldn't normally find them in a microbial community, and that's kind of how we got them to work that way. So, but they all are naturally occurring bacteria, so it's nothing like crazy.
Do any of the microbes actually depend on each other for life, or they just work
Nope,
together?
they just work together to function the way that we want them to, which is to cycle phosphorus as fast as possible, or most efficiently as possible.
What about the people that invented it?
So they still work at the university. They're soil microbiologists at Colorado State University. And then we have like a huge R&D team that are amazing, and they run our greenhouses and are constantly and in our labs pulling different strains of bacteria, because we're coming up with different consortias to target different nutrient uptakes. And basically they're, pulling these bacteria and putting them together into different consortias and then testing them in the field. So we have, hemp growing. We have basically like 2,000 hemp plants in a greenhouse with 40 different consortias being sent throughout this greenhouse, and they're being tested every single day. They're measuring internodal spacing on these plants, thousands of hemp plants, and so they do a lot of work.
That's all done in-house?
Yeah, we do that all in-house, and then we also work with some of the top schools in the country, universities that do plant trials that study microbiology, and they're testing our products on different types of crops. A lot of it is being tested on hemp. That is why we do so well with hemp, but it functions the same way with regular cannabis. We see that yield increase, which is huge. So the university testing means a lot too when it comes down to like, we have peer-reviewed articles that are like scientific documentation that prove that our product works on across the board on different types of applications of different crops, and these are like proper trials that have been run by scientists in a university for proper data.
So there's science behind it.
Right, it goes a long way for sure.
Do most companies on the market put that much time and energy into like developing the product that you know of, or would you say some of the competitors maybe just throw? There's nothing like it, really.
I would say no, for sure. A lot of the other beneficials on the market are just like, they're made by large ag companies and white labeled to market towards the cannabis industry. It's a lot of the same stuff. The biotechnology that we have has been recognized. We were like just on the cover of Business Worldwide magazine for being like revolutionizing agriculture because of our biotechnology. No one else is doing that. No one else is trying to specifically target nutrient uptake with bacteria. And we have like the most unbelievable team. We have a really good team of microbiologists that specifically study how plants react to different microbes, and like they're working on a lot of different stuff, and it's pretty cool.
Were these microbes, where were they, I don't know if you can talk about, where were they found, or like where were they?
Well, so actually, like, people who have been following us for years, they've probably seen every once in a while we'll send out a thing and ask people to send us their soil.
Oh.
And we send out a little kit, and people will scoop their soil from their wherever, their yard, wherever they are, all over the country, and we have them send it in to us. And so we study the natural soils, and yeah, that's basically, we screen those soils for bacteria strains and figuring out which ones are good to use, and then, you know, process of elimination.
Yeah. Did you guys do that just domestically or internationally? Because you probably find better soil in other countries.
I believe for the Mammoth P, we just did that domestically, but I'm not sure about the other products that we've been working on.
I would imagine with like all the pesticides and pollution and all this other stuff that like microbe life naturally is probably on a decline. Or maybe a little bit of both, depending on what type of microbes they are. Some that like harsher climates maybe are thriving.
Right, well, and it's like evolution happens too, you know, so there's probably new bacteria, you know, all the time being naturally created or whatever. But yeah, they do study. We are overseas now. We've only been a company for 4 years, and so we've only been selling internationally for 2 years maybe. So we're in like 16 different countries, 17 countries. Israel a little bit, yeah. We're in like Spain. We have a rep in Uruguay, Colombia. We're in like all of South America, Australia, Japan, UK. Spain is really big right now.
That's cool. Do you get to travel internationally for Mammoth?
I don't. I just do the East Coast. Hopefully at some point. But yeah, we actually have a team of people. We have our international sales team and like our South American sales team. So we have 2 reps in Spain, we have a rep in Uruguay, we have a rep in Colombia, 1 in New Mexico. I think that's it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And are you seeing like you must be seeing like reps pop up in different parts of like legalization and interest?
Yeah, we're constant. I mean, we just hired a new person to take over the South for me, so that's really exciting. I'm gonna be only in the Northeast now, well, down to Washington D.C. So we're definitely doing a lot and need help, and we're constantly growing. So obviously we're doing something right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, we'll be I'm sure as other countries come on, like we're about to hopefully going to open up in Canada really soon.
Oh, wow.
So that'll be really huge opportunity up there.
Is Mammoth a private company?
Yes.
Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else? I guess that's it, right?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming on to Nerding Out today. Appreciate you
Thanks.
dropping some knowledge for people and having the conversation about Mammoth P.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Alrighty. Cut.